let's make this one go this way. So, I don't know. But anyway, so then I didn't talk to her for a long time after that. But, you know, I ended up talking to her again at some point, and then I don't know, and then she left the state, and she moved away, and she moved to like New Mexico or something. I don't know. We didn't talk because she never really had a stable, number to call her at, or to reach her at. And anyway, and it just ended up being where we lost contact with each other, and it just, I don't know, it was kind of annoying, how things ended up. And she would call me in the middle of the night back then, around like 2, 3 in the morning. And she'd call my house number, because back then, yeah, I still had a house number. And she would call my house number, and, because I didn't have a cell phone then, so there was no D&D then. Anyway, she'd call me and say, I wish, I want to come back to Minnesota. She'd call me all either drunk or high or whatever. And, dummies, like, one time we actually bought her, my husband and I, we bought her a ticket to a bus ride ticket back home. And she didn't use it. And it was like, that was like the one time my husband actually was on board with, helping my sister out. And she didn't use it. She stayed down in New Mexico with this man she met down there. I'm not sure, actually. I don't know how she met him. But anyway, he's the father of her first kid. And I never met this kid until finally after a while of my sister calling me and whining about how she, wants to, come back up here. And I'm like, I don't know what's going on or any of this stuff. And, oh, it's just a mess. And, and I'm sitting here at home dealing with my own things, I got a kid who I didn't know at the time was, autistic, and, the teachers in her class, she was getting picked on by her peers, and oh my God, things were just, not the best for me emotionally, yet here my sister is adding more to my pile. And it's like, I don't know. I didn't know how to handle it, and I don't know. It just was a mess. Everything back then was just more of a mess. It just seemed that way. Apparently, I'm just making leaves. Anyway, I don't know. So anyway, time passes. And she ends up coming up here. She comes back to Minnesota because she says she wants to, I guess she was leaving the state I guess she was dodging going to jail or something. I don't forget what she called it. I don't know those things. I've not done too much of anything as an adult. I'm a pretty good law-abiding citizen. So anyway, so I tell her, sure, I'll, watch your kid while you go to, take care of your sentence. So me and her daughter her daughter's 2 at this point. I remember picking her up at the bus station and driving them home. And then I remember I remember letting she put her daughter out on the grass, and her daughter would like do these really high steps, like this. So she's on the ground and she'd go really high off the ground because she had never been in grass before. She'd never walked on it. So it was new, you know, coming from New Mexico, where I guess you have rocks for lawn or whatever. It you know, was interesting for me to see that.